On May 25th, Council Member Costa Constantinides held a rally at the steps of City Hall in Manhattan in support of his energy bill INT 642. Mr. Constantinides was joined by environmental groups and others supporting his legislation that would ensure more sustainable energy consumption by increasing the use of biodiesel in home heating oil. In fact, the bill would increase biodiesel use from the current standard of 2% to 5% blend and then raise that blend incrementally until we get to 20%. There are currently 34 co-sponsors in the City Council for Bill INT 642, for which a hearing was held back in October 2015. The Mayor's Office of Sustainability, the Building Owners and Managers Association of Greater New York, and several environmental advocates all testified in favor of this bill. Addressing the rally, Council Member Constantinides, who looks forward to bringing this bill to a vote very soon, stressed that, quote, it would help reduce pollution, clean our air quality, and improve our public health. He further stressed that, quote, the Council, the administration, environmental advocates, and building owners who would need to implement this policy are in agreement that this is an important and doable step in our efforts to combat climate change. Increasing biofuel in our home heating oil is a tested solution that will help bring us closer toward our goal of reducing carbon emissions to 80% by 2050, end quote. Cleaner heating oil has been a priority in New York City's efforts to combat climate change. In 2012, Mayor Bloomberg signed into law a bill that required home heating oil containing 2% biodiesel blend. This year, Mayor de Blasio included cleaner heating oil as part of the WNYE plan's progress and highlighted the elimination of the dirtiest heating oil, the B6. Referring to these policies, Councilmember Constantinides further noted that they have already shown results. According to the Community Air Survey released in April, he stressed the significant improvements we've seen in our air quality have been in our building emissions due to a conversion to cleaner heating oil. The rally was also addressed by Abby Brown, Clean Energy Project Manager at Environmental Defense Fund, Jennifer Urrutia, Program Coordinator at Empire Clean Cities, and Dimos Dimopoulos, Secretary-Treasurer of Teamsters Local 553. All speakers termed the passing of Bill INT 642 a significant step in New York City's path toward a more sustainable future, as it will place the city in the right direction towards reducing fossil fuel reliance, while this policy would also bring additional green jobs. Biodiesel is predominantly sourced from used cooking oil from New York's 24,000 restaurants. The biodiesel industry supports thousands of jobs, including the Teamsters Local 553, who transport the fuel to buildings.
Mr. Dimopoulos, who are you? You're representing the Teamsters today. Tell me your thoughts about today's rally.
Well, we stand with the council member, and we're interested in maintaining the life of heating oil, and this is just a way of doing that by making sure it's burning as clean as possible and that it's still in use, because my members still have to work. And like Council Member Constantinides said, he's also looking to protect jobs, which is my #1 concern as well.
And when we're talking about jobs, how is this bill going to help you create more jobs?
The biofuel industry is growing. As was mentioned before, the cooking grease that restaurants used to dispose of or have pay people to do that is now being collected and being cleaned and processed and mixed with the heating oil. So again, those are jobs. Those are jobs that we see an opportunity to maintain good benefits and good hourly wages so they can provide for their families.
How hard are you willing to fight for the passing of this bill?
Whatever Costa needs us to do, we're with him. He's always been there for us, and we'll continue to be there for him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Efkaristo.
Mr. Levine, you participated in this rally today for the environmental heating bill. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, our thoughts are big oil is standing up against this. This is something that saves lives, it protects our climate, it's something that's going to lower home heating oil bills, and it's something that the city can do right now in order to fight back against all of these things. So we're asking, why isn't it getting done?
You want to tell us a little bit about your organization?
Sure. So the New York League of Conservation Voters, we work to endorse and elect pro-environment elected officials. We also work to evaluate them and hold them accountable, which is why we're out here today, making sure that the members of the council and the city are standing up for what's right for the environment.
Ms. Brown, who are you representing today?
I am here in support of Council Member Constantinides' bill to increase the percentage of biodiesel used in home heating oil.
And which organization are you representing?
I'm with Environmental Defense Fund, which is a national environmental nonprofit headquartered in New York City.
Why do you think this bill is very important?
This bill is important because it builds on successes we've already had in mandating a 2% raise in biodiesel in heating fuel, which has helped contribute to immense air quality improvements over the last 4 or 5 years. We have the cleanest air that we've had since the 1960s. It's decreased sulfur, particulate matter, nickel, which are all things that are very harmful to people's health. And so this builds on that success and takes it a step further, which will be good for public health. It will be good for local businesses if the biodiesel comes from local sources, and it will help the city reach its environmental goals.
Anything else you would like to stress?
Just that this isn't really a new development. It's building on success that has already the first step has already been taken. So it's just building on a foundation of air quality improvements and environmental progress that we've already made.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Costa. It seems that you're always rallying for the people and your constituents, not only in Astoria, Queens, but throughout the city of New York. So you're fighting for this bill. Why is this bill so important?
You know, we have to deal with the emissions, the pollution that are coming from our buildings. 70% of our greenhouse gas emissions, 70% of our pollution come from New York City buildings. And this bill today will increase the fuel standard that we currently have in place of biofuel from 2% to 5%. That, just going to that would be equivalent of taking 45,000 cars off the road every single year. That's important in fighting climate change. It's also extremely important when we deal in Astoria. Number one reason a child goes to the hospital in our neighborhood is asthma. You know, we have so many polluters in our neighborhood, but we want to make sure that a bill like this that you know, is cost effective, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but that it's cost effective, that it creates good jobs, but also, again, it's going to reduce the amount of pollution, the particulate matter, the sulfur, all of the bad pollution emitters in our neighborhoods, going to decrease it. The equivalent of taking 45,000 cars off the road every single year. That's an important step.
I spoke to Mr. Dimopoulos from the Teamsters earlier, and he said this is a bill that will create jobs, and he explained to us why, but would you like to elaborate further?
Well, I mean, before we saw restaurants that would have to throw away their used cooking grease or pay someone to take it away. Now they can pay someone, they'll get paid. They'll get paid for it because it's going to be sourced in our home heating oil. And you know, we're going to see new plants coming online, new jobs. Close to 10,000 jobs right now in New York City are based on biofuel. So we're going to see that grow. As we expand this fuel standard, we're not only going to see an environmental benefit, but we're going to see a benefit to real New Yorkers where they'll be able to find greener jobs in our communities. And on average, you know, biofuel has been 21 cents cheaper than traditional petroleum. So you know, it's clear. You know, the evidence is clear that you know, when it comes to the environment, biofuel is better. When it comes to cost, biofuel is better. When it comes to creating jobs, biofuel is better.
And earlier you noted, and in a way you complained that some organizations and entities that are against this. Why?
You know, the American Petroleum Institute, represents big oil. That's the same big oil that fought us in the phase out of number 6 oil, the same big oil that fought against the reduction in sulfur in our home heating oil, the same big oil that fought that all of these policies have seen a 68% decrease over the last 4 years in sulfur dioxide in the air. They fought all of those policies. You know, they are only worried about their market share. They're only interested in protecting our addiction to home heat, to full petroleum. We have to do better. And this is going to take a good step forward for the people of the city of New York.
Well, you've had a lot of supporters here today. When is this bill going to be voted on, and what are your, do you think it's going to pass?
Oh man, we have 34 sponsors on the bill. The administration has expressed support. We want to make sure we get the bill right, so we are looking at protections for homeowners to make sure if the price ever does change, that there's a fail-safe there. We want to make sure that the sourcing is right. But at the end of the day, we want to get this done before heating season next year. So next year, starting, it's the hottest day of the year right now. We're standing out here and I'm sweating here, but we want to make sure that for the next heating season that we have this standard in effect, and that we see that air quality benefit, the job benefit, that cost benefit for our families.
So when is it going to be voted on?
We're hoping before June. We're hoping that the end of session in June that we'll have this done, but we're pushing very hard, very, very, very quickly.
Well, congratulations and all the best, and good luck with the bill. I'm sure you're going to really fight for it, and you have a lot of advocates who are supporting you.
Elena, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your consistent and persistent voice for the Greek community. Thank you so much for all that AKTINA does.
Thank you.